Welcome back everyone, this is Mondo All Day, back to another video, and in this video, I'll be doing an overview of the Red Hood Outlaws book. This is going to be the Webtoon, the DC origin stories of the Webtoon. So this book itself is actually a lot smaller, and from what I can tell, it's going to be like the young type of thing for comics, which I'll talk more about that in a bit. But anyways, as always, I'll be talking about a little bit of the story, the art, and of course, everything worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the book. The spine, the back, and that's pretty much it in terms of the book. It is a trade paperback, something we've always seen before, and yes, this is definitely a lot. I mean, a lot smaller compared to the other trade paperbacks, so there's that. Alright? Now, what is this book about? So, the book is about the group of outlaws, or the group named Outlaws, excuse me, get hired by someone, which I won't talk about or try not to show because I don't want to spoil it. But they get hired by someone to obtain this ancient idol that's located in a unusual location. So, the outlaws go out and seek this rare item. And when they do that, they are arrived at a weird location, but more importantly, there's some twist and meaning behind this item. And that is the gist of this particular story. This is volume 1, so you can kind of get an idea how it's going to end. And with that said, I like the story. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, this particular Webtoons, it's not your typical comic. What I mean by that, usually with the other comics, like traditional comics for DC, there's more character depth, character development, or story development. This is pretty straightforward. I mean, mid into this book, you kind of get an idea, okay, this is how it's going to end. And yes, it does end the way you think. But even though it is a bit predictable, it's still pretty fun because one thing I like about it is going to be the banter between all three characters that consists of Bizarro, Red Hood, and Artemis, and their banter is fun, especially with Red Hood and Artemis. Bizarro, I like him in here, and I'm bringing this up is because usually when it comes to Bizarro, for those of you who don't know, with Bizarro, he is like the opposite of Superman, and so when he communicates or talks, he's also the opposite. So instead of saying up, up, and away, he'll say down, down, close. So that can be very tedious to read and annoying. In here is perfect, where he does say his weird things, but it's just enough to where you're like, okay, I get it, and then that's it. And they continue on with the story. But the banter between Red Hood and Artemis, that's a lot of fun. And the story itself is fun. Again, this is a very simple, easy to read story. It's they call it, I believe, like DC Young. And it's not like really young in terms of like kiddish or goofy jokes. It's like right in the middle. Because I know not McFarlane. I know DC, they do make like very kid-like type of comics. This is not like that. This is like in between kid comics and regular comics, if that makes sense. But I liked it. If you're bored and you have nothing else to do, or you want to read something completely random, but with characters that you like or know, I think this is a good book. Pretty straightforward, easy to read. I read this less than an hour, so can't go wrong with it. The art is fine. There is no art on here that really does pop. It's not bad. It's fine. For what it is, it's fine. The pacing is definitely above average. As I mentioned, I read this in less than an hour, so yeah, the pacing is pretty darn quick. Do you need to have prior knowledge? Absolutely not. You can just get this book and you're perfectly fine. The only prior knowledge per se is just the character themselves. But come on, that's pretty obvious. Paper quality is matte. Again, it's a trade paperback and it's really small. So yeah. So overall, what do I give this book? Honestly, I give it a thumbs up. Even though it's pretty predictable. But it's fun though, and what the purpose of this whole entire like Toon series for DC, or Webtoons, excuse me, is just to be easier to read with characters that we all like, especially with DC characters. And you know what? It achieved that. It's fun and silly, action-packed, And that's it. You can't go wrong with that. So, once again, I give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read this book? Do you plan on reading this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the support channel, to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Red Hood Outlaws, the original DC Stories webtoon, and on to the next one.